Welcome back. It's getting near the end of the season. It is state tournament week here on Wisconsin Prep Hockey. Mike Hammond along with our full panel tonight. And we got plenty of stuff to talk about with the state tournament this week, and we'll get to that in a moment. Right now, we're just going to get to our players of the week, and Burglar got a couple winners, boys and girls. A couple kids really had some fine weeks.
Thanks, MJ. Our boys player of the week we'll do first. He's a goalie, plays for Nina Hortonville Menasha. His name is Jake Mork, and he did, just about everything you could ask a goalie to do during the 3 games in the tournament, and that is he pitched 3 shutouts. Jake Mork stopped all 20 shots he faced in their 5-0 win over Fox Cities. He was 18 for 18 in their 5-0 win over De Pere. And on Friday night in the sectional final against Notre Dame Academy, he stopped all 19 shots sent at him. Okay. Yeah. And, so for that, Jake Mark, goaltender, Nina Hortonville Menasha, our boys player of the week. On the girls' side, we went with offense. Hudson, a forward, Sydney Hendricks, had 4 assists in Hudson's 11-2 win over Superior. She had 4 goals in the 5-3 win over the St. Croix Valley Fusion, and she had a goal and an assist in the sectional final 3-1 win over the Eau Claire Area Stars. So for leading her team in scoring to victory, Sydney Hendricks of the Hudson Raiders, and on the boys' side, Jake Mark, Nina Hortonville Menasha, our players of the week.
Looking here at Sydney Hendricks, 1 goal, 1 assist in that win over Eau Claire Area. That means we're going to have a new girls' state champion this year. No argument from anybody. Okay, great.
Well, if the previous champion was eliminated.
Well, yeah. Eau Claire Area Stars were the previous champion, and they were eliminated.
Well, didn't Hudson have their number during the year? I thought that Hudson beat Eau Claire Area twice during the season, or maybe it was once during the season and once in the playoffs, but I believe that they handled them, so maybe not a huge surprise, but Hudson coming on strong at the end of the year. Hendricks had a great 3 games and well deserving of the player of the week, which is probably actually more the player of the playoffs. So
yeah, I think it's a little revenge for Hudson because weren't they the preemptive favorites last year, and then ECA knocked them out to go to the tournament?
I believe you're right. I believe you are right.
Yeah, last year, they were the ones that were leading the conference pretty much the entire way. But even during the regular season, they had tough games against the Stars last year, and this year they're able to turn the table, and they're the ones that made it down to state. But as Trasher said, and as the votes said, Sydney Hendricks is definitely deserving of the player of the week.
And then Jake Mork, 3 shutouts. That's pretty amazing. And he's our player of the week. And, on the boys' side, it was a good week for goaltenders when you look at what also Garrett Larson did. 2 shutouts and gave up 2 goals in that game against Milwaukee Marquette. That Waukesha won 5-2. And second, third period, believe me, he had his hands full, but he had a good week too. But Jake Mork, fantastic job. He's our boys' player of the week. Well, let's move on. Let's go preview the boys' Thursday quarterfinal games. And Trasher, why don't you go ahead and start it out?
All right. Well, the okay. I have to get my Yaya up here to make sure that I know what I'm talking about, which sometimes I don't.
Let's just start with game one.
Game one, University School, who was the number 1 seed in the tournament, against number 8 Onalaska. And the way we understand it is that all 8 teams were seeded 1 through 8, and then they match up in the tournament as such: 1 and 8, 4 and 5, 2 and 7, 3 and 6. U School number 1 versus number 8 Onalaska. That will be the first game at 10 o'clock on Thursday. I've seen University School play a couple of times. They just absolutely run over people. Have not seen Onalaska play, but they're kind of like a sneaky good team. You know, they get in there, and when you least expect it, they do something really good. But University School, I don't know. They look like they're ready to run all the way to the championship game here. So, first game should be very interesting.
Well, I think they'll all be interesting, Michael. But Onalaska did play USM, if I remember correctly, their last regular season game.
That's correct, MJ. It was a 6-1 victory in that game for USM, and USM, I believe they outshot Onalaska 37-14 in that game. So it was a game that score and the shots kind of show you that it was dominated by USM. But Onalaska's played some of these other teams that are in the state tournament pretty tight. They have a 3-2 loss to Waukesha about halfway through the season. They had a 6-5 overtime victory over Eau Claire North during the season. And so, they have their things where they can play them pretty tight. And so, I'm looking for a good game for that first one to start out the quarterfinals.
Yeah, that 3-2 loss they took to Waukesha was kind of the quintessential Waukesha game for this season. Onalaska outshot the Wings 43-18. But Garrett Larson was the difference maker in that one. I don't think through their season Onalaska played anybody as deep as University School. Obviously they have the win against Eau Claire North, and we all know about Stang and Erdahl on North. But North is not as deep as University School is. And it'll be interesting to see if Onalaska picks themselves back up after that loss to U School, because it could have just been one of those situations where they got hit hard at the beginning and just kind of faded. That doesn't always happen the second time around. I've seen Onalaska play on TV once this year. I watched their sectional final against Reedsburg on the Coulee Region Sportsnet. But I've seen University School once this year in person, and you talked about how impressive they're. That day I was not impressed with University School, but then neither was their coaching staff. They were very unhappy with the way they played up in Eagle River against Northland Pines. Northland Pines just looked better than they did that day, and if that's the University School that Onalaska runs into, Onalaska is capable of reversing that 6-1 loss they took.
I'm just looking at our computer rankings here. The stack rankings has University School at number 1 and Onalaska at number 8. No, that's Mitch Hawker's U.S. High School Hockey has University School number 1, Onalaska at number 8. The stack rankings has University School at number 2 and Onalaska at number 4. So both of the computer rankings give the slight edge to University School also, like all of you guys seem to.
Game number 2 has Verona taking on Eau Claire North. Verona in their third matchup of the season with Sun Prairie, a 5-3 win. And Eau Claire North had to go double overtime to beat Hayward 3-2. And this is quarterfinal game number 2. This one approximately at 12:30. Verona is one of those teams where they can fill it up in a hurry. They've got a good defenseman in Jake Osiki, and they also have pretty good goaltending as well. Definite improvement on the goaltending end from last year. Wildcats expect to be around for a little bit in this tournament. And Eau Claire North, though, they bring those two very talented forwards and a pretty good supporting cast around them to this game. And this one should be pretty interesting. It's going to be, I'm just going to leave it at that. This one's going to be a pretty close game, I feel.
Well, on the Eau Claire North side, they have Sam Stang, who's a Player of the Year finalist with 67 points. Zach Erdahl, he's a junior. He has 61 points. Joey Kohler is one of the line mates, although he's flip-flop between the first line and the second line to try to give him a little more punch. He's a junior. He has 50 points, but then it drops off to 17. So they have three players basically that do the majority of the scoring, but they do indeed do the scoring. On the other side, Matt Karoluk with 79 points. Or scratch that, 69 points. Apparently the math here on the WIAA website is wrong. Kale Rufenacht, 49. He impressed me in the couple of games I saw him. Walker Hasig, 38 points. And our buddy Tony Redland's kid, Leo Redland, with 28 points. So they got a little scoring punch. I think Verona overall has a slight goaltending edge. Caden Grant over Tyler Schreider, but I've seen Schreider play very well in key games. It's going to be a close game.
Well. He played very well in overtime against Hayward. I watched that game online.
Yeah, and this is
made a difference.
Yeah, this is 4 and 5, so I mean this is going to be in theory on paper, but you don't play the game on paper. The closest game of the foursome, but I mean, who knows? Should be a good game between two really good teams.
Yeah, Stang and Erdahl account for 65% of Eau Claire North's goals for the season. Two players, 6 out of 10 goals that the team scores. So really, if you want to beat them, it comes down to stopping those two guys.
And it's a tall order to stop those two because they are very good. But you also look on the other side of the coin, though. You got Verona with Jake Osiki, and these guys are very familiar with each other from Team Wisconsin. So Osiki's going to have his hands full, and they're going to have their hands full with Osiki.
Well, the thing is, the game against Sun Prairie on Saturday, Karoluk is the one that I was very impressed with watching him play. I believe he finished that game with 2 goals and 2 assists. And one of the assists he made, he was coming down the near boards to where I was sitting and made a backhand centering pass where the guy took the shot from basically the top of the circles, but head on at the goalie and hit it just behind the crossbar and in for the goal. And it was that second period is what changed it. And they were 2 shorthanded goals that they put into the net against Sun Prairie. And so, their penalty kill, is something that, they showed they were able to score on it. And they are a very fast team and have the players that can put the puck in the net.
Yeah, and as Bill said, usually, the 4 and the 5 seed, those are the ones that we had during the playoff round. That's where we had the most upsets, were the 5 beating the 4, and even our computer rankings are mixed with this one. The U.S. high school hockey ranking has Verona at number 7 and Eau Claire North at number 13, giving the edge to Verona. And the stack rankings has Eau Claire North at 6 and Verona at 8, so they give the nod to Eau Claire North, so they can't even decide. I did watch you talk about Sam Stang and Erdahl. Stang had the first goal and then the game winner in the second overtime, where he kind of sandbagged the defenseman, came into the zone kind of slow, and then put on a burst of speed to get around the defenseman, cut to the net. The Hayward goalie gambled and tried to poke check the puck as Stang was coming across the front of the net, but he moved the puck out and then was able to easily just tuck it in the net behind the goalie and send the crowd into a frenzy at that point.
Bill, in that game,
yeah,
in that game, Bill, I noticed at the end of the game when the goal was scored for the winner, Hayward was very upset about something in that final sequence there.
You were watching it. You were watching it on the Facebook Live thing too.
No, I was watching it on Husky TV.
Oh, okay. But they were. I heard him yelling, that's not a goal. It's not a goal. I watched the play. I saw it like from a couple different, cameras from news stations. They're covering it, and like I said, Stang he drove hard around the defenseman, cut in front. The goalie, tried to poke check. Unless the only thing I didn't see, I suppose, is if when the goalie lunged out to poke check, he also had the foresight, to kick back with his foot and maybe push the net off. But I didn't see that. I don't think anybody said anything about a net being off. But that's all that I could imagine it could have been, because there was no goaltender interference. It was just Stang and the goalie were the only ones around. So unless, and I've seen goalies that would, do that. Go out for the poke check while simultaneously giving the pipe a little kick, just in case you miss.
Well, you know how goalies, they kick that leg out to get a little push over, and look at that, net dislodged.
Oops. Yeah, but unless that was it, otherwise, there was nothing else going on. There was. Yeah, I heard that. I could hear the coaches in the background.
Could there have been an offsides on the play?
No,
he was all alone.
Okay.
No, but you're right, Burglar. He took that inside movement of that defenseman. That defenseman couldn't keep up with him. Move on to game number 3. Neenah taking on defending state champion Hudson Raiders.
Two-time defending state champion.
Yeah, 2-time. Guys, everybody keeps erasing off Hudson. Well, look, they lost here, they lost here, they lost here. Oh, look, they're at state.
Well, to be fair, compared to their last 2 seasons, they did lose a lot of games.
Yeah, and, people weren't giving them much of a chance against Superior, especially playing up at Westman, and they beat them.
Right, and within the last, 10 games of the year, they had a 2-game losing streak, a 2-game winning streak, a 3-game losing streak, and a 3-game winning streak. And they took care of Superior in the sectional final 2-1, and I believe that was a 2 overtime game.
Yes.
And they lost to them earlier in the year, actually lost to them twice, 3-2 in overtime and 3-1 very early in the season. So Hudson may be peaking at the right time. They started out the season, MJ, like you said, where everybody thought they were ready to rock and roll and they'd be right back, and no question about it, they'd be one of the favorites for the state tournament. But with a few losses here and there, it definitely looked questionable. But I think at the end of the season, they picked up their game, and now they're going to play against the Neenah Hortonville Menasha Rockets. So good for them.
The Rockets finally able to get over that hump and get in the state tournament. They've had a couple of good teams the last couple of years, and this year finally able to get in, and they're making their first appearance.
Yeah, this is going to be a hard one to predict.
Another one, you want to erase Hudson because they haven't had that year that they've had the last couple of years, but they are the defending state champs.
They do have that incentive. The last team to win back-to-back championships was the 94, 95, 96 Superior squad. So Hudson's got to win this one so they can match that one with 3 in a row.
Question for you guys. Superior won the title in 2015. Have they been back to state since?
No. Hudson lost to Appleton United in 16 and then won in 17 and 18. So Hudson's come out of Section 1 the last 3 years. And they've gone to the championship game each of the last 3 years as well.
This is another one that our buddies with the computer rankings disagree on. The stack rankings have Hudson at number 10 and Nina Hortonville Menasha at number 11. So they're virtually, neck and neck. Mitch Hawker, the U.S. high school hockey one, has Nina Hortonville Menasha way up at number 5 and Hudson down at number 11. So Mitch gives a big nod to Nina Hortonville Menasha, and the stack rankings give a slight nod to Hudson. I watched the game, the sectional final between Hudson and Superior on the iFan TV, and Hudson really pretty much outplayed Superior that entire game. They outshot them 2-1. It was like 40-20 or rough numbers, right around that margin. They just controlled things from the start, and the Superior goalie Podvan. It wasn't Felix. It was Dayton Podvan. Kept them in the game as long as he could. But then he just didn't get a whole lot of support from his teammates. They just didn't really seem that there was. Bill talked about no flow in that West Spash game. There was no flow in this Superior versus Hudson game either. It was just it was kind of an ugly game to watch, and Hudson controlled more of the ugliness than Superior did, and came away with a double overtime win in that one.
Well, you look at what the Rockets have done in their last bunch of games. They've won 12 in a row and 16 of their last 17, including 8 shutouts, and the last 4 games have all been shutouts. But the Raiders have played a tougher schedule. Their record is more up and down so than the Rockets, but maybe we talked about Jake Moore playing goalie. He's got 4 shutouts in a row, so he's kind of on a little streak there, and that's got to come into play maybe a little bit, don't you think, Burglar?
Well, I'm double checking you here. You're dissing the Badgerland Conference and Nina Hortonville Menasha's schedule. I'm just going a quick look to see who they've played.
They've played a lot of the
University School, Eau Claire North, Eau Claire Memorial, Waukesha, Wausau West, Notre Dame. I don't think you can be really dissing their schedule.
No, but that was all early in the year.
It was this season. Stevens Point was February 5th.
Yeah, but that one game I think where they had played one game where they played a top 10 team. Everybody else I believe was out of the top 10. But they did go 16 of 17, and that has to count for something. Plus, Mork is seeing 4 shutouts in a row and 5 out of the last 6 games. So, I mean, he's on fire. That definitely has to count for something. But I still think that the Raiders' schedule has been a little bit tougher. Their record is a little bit less than the Rockets, and maybe that has to be taken into account.
Not by me. I'm disagreeing with you all the way.
And we're shocked about you disagreeing, how? No, I didn't think so. One of the things, though, guys, that Hudson does have, experience at state. They have plenty of it. Nina's first time there. We'll see if that plays into the equation at all. Last boys quarterfinal game, Wausau West against Waukesha. It's either going to be a blowout or it's going to be a really tight game. Wausau West with all the offense, and Waukesha with Garrett Larson, who's just been phenomenal, just like Jake Mork. And Waukesha don't score a whole lot, but they don't give up a whole lot either. And once again, you guys all agree with me.
We're just totally dumbfounded.
You transitioned faster than we were ready for.
Yeah. The Warriors have won 10 in a row, and I think they're 16 out of their last 17. They've played a tough schedule. We know the schedule they play. They have goal scorers. They have Cade Lemmer, Sam Teckel, Mark Sipple. They've all scored over 50 points, and then it drops off a little bit. On the other side, Waukesha, their leading scorer, Garrett Wilderman, has 27 points. Chad Larson, 24 points. Tyler Dale, I believe is the son of Peter Dale, 23 points. So they do not score a lot of goals, only just a little over 3 a game. West, on average, about 5 a game. But like MJ, like you said, Garrett Larson is kind of the equalizer there. He's got a 935 save percentage, and he can win games. He can steal games. We've seen it. We know this is true. Can he steal it from the game from West? That remains to be seen.
Waukesha, another team that has lots of state tournament experience. Garrett Larson has lots of state tournament experience. On the other side, Wausau West has state tournament experience as well. If I remember correctly, did they get there last year?
No.
No? Okay. But they were there the year before that and probably the year before that. I mean, it's both teams with plenty of experience. Like I said, this is either going to be a blowout in favor of Wausau West or it's going to be a tight game because Garrett Larson made it that way.
Yeah, it's either going to be a blowout in favor of Wausau West or a tight game in favor of Wausau West. Both of the computer rankings agree on this one. Mitch has Wausau West at number 2. Waukesha is down at number 17. The stack rankings have Wausau West at number 3, and Waukesha is also at number 17. So, not on paper, but on digital paper, Wausau West is clearly the advantage here.
I would agree with that. They clearly have the advantage, but you looked at the X Factor, Garrett Larson. He can keep a game close.
Well, and last time they played, West won 3-1, out shooting the Wings 42-25. So that's, I mean, I'm sure West is fully aware of just how one-sided that game was everywhere except the scoreboard, because 3-1 is not that big a margin for doubling up your opponent on shots.
Waukesha, when I watched their game on Friday night, did everything they could. Well, they scored 5 goals in the first period. I mean, Marquette just wasn't ready. Their goaltender didn't play very well. But the second and third period, Waukesha was totally dominated in that game. Waukesha took a ton of penalties. They gave Marquette every opportunity to get back in that game, and they couldn't do it because of Garrett Larson. This guy makes that much of a difference.
Well, it was a couple of years ago. Well, the year Superior won it with the losing record. In the semifinals, they ran into, I believe it was the best goalie in the state, who made a mistake stopping a puck behind the net.
Wasn't that Cedarburg goalie?
It was the only, it was a 1-0 game. That was the only goal he gave up. Who was that goalie?
Matt McCoy.
Yeah, Matt McCoy.
But he kept, that's the only mistake he made the whole game. It could be that kind of a game.
He stopped 35 of 37 on Friday night. We'll see if that's good enough to carry into Thursday's game against Wausau West. Should be a lot of fun. Del, you ready to talk some girls?
Yes, I am. I had to get myself off of mute here. And well, our first sectional, our semifinal here is going to be the Fox City Stars taking on the Cap City Cougars. And, the semifinal game, this will be the second time this season these two teams have met. First time was January 5th, in which the Cougars were outshot 21-10 in a 7-0 loss. The firepower that the Stars have is Jablonski, Horman, and Hull are 3 players that, I got to see them play against Onalaska earlier this year in one of our game of the weeks, and the article I wrote on there is just it was the Jablonski Horman whole show out there. They were that impressive out on the ice. The Cap City Cougars, they do get back their senior goalie, Jenna Yeager, who had been out a couple weeks with a clavicle issue, but she was cleared to play before the sectional final game, but she was sick that entire week. So it was actually Taylor Knox in goal against Onalaska Hilltoppers, and a game that went into overtime for a 5-4 win. But it was a game in which the Cougars had to battle back from a 3-1 deficit, took a 4-3 lead at the end of two, and then gave up one goal in the third to go into the overtime. Fox City Stars, to get here, knocked off the Alliance 5-2 in their final, and at that point they were ranked number 2 in the state while the Alliance was ranked number 1. So I mean, they seem to be firing on all their cylinders and are ready to take on this chance of winning state.
Hey, Del, I will tell you what the key to this game is going to be. Hattie Burnt in net for Fox Cities. If she plays like she played against the Alliance, she only allowed 2 goals. I believe she was 20 of 22. She played an outstanding game. There's a lot of firepower on that Alliance team. She kept them out of the net. We know that Fox City Stars are going to score their goals. But not to put any pressure on you, Hattie, but I think it's your game. I think if you play like you did on Friday night, I think you win this game. So that's kind of my opinion.
Not to put any pressure on you, but I'm going to put all the pressure on you.
Nah, she's not listening to this anyway.
I haven't seen Cap Cities play because they're down south. I don't get down south that often. I did see the Fox City Stars play, and they are fast. They cover a lot of ice and move the puck very well. Both of the, I mean, actually for this we have Mitch Hawker has his high school hockey, and he has the Fox City Stars ranked 3rd in the state and the Cap City Cougars at 11, and then the My Hockey rankings agrees, 3 for Fox Cities and 11 for the Cap City Cougars. So in the girls' side, with not as many teams and the talent seem to be the difference between 3 between 3 and 11 on the girls' side is a lot greater than the difference between being ranked 3 and being ranked 11 on the boys' side. Just because it's a smaller field, that's a huge gap, and I don't see Cap City being able to overcome that.
I didn't get a chance to see either team this year, but what I've heard about Fox City Stars, some people who have seen them, and same thing that you guys said, fast, very fast, and they can fill it up in a hurry.
Well, maybe I was a little bit hasty, banana, in that Hattie Burnt thing. But I also did hear from a couple of people that Jeff Fox is a great coach, and he's the Fox City Stars coach. He's got the team named after him. That's pretty cool. But they like him as a coach, and he definitely has gotten the most out of his talent. But I mean, let's face it, Jablonski, Horman, Hall, they are, I think, arguably probably the top line in the state this year. Dell has seen them play. I've seen them play. They're fast, they're quick, and they stick the puck in the net. So maybe, Hattie, we're gonna take the pressure off you because guys will probably score 6 goals or something stupid like that. So should be a good game, but yeah, after all of that, I'm going to give Fox Cities the little edge there.
See, I heard that Jeff Fox was just a figurehead, and that Chris McGurk is really the guy that makes that team go. At least that's what some nameless hockey official told me, at one point this season that, it's all that success is, because of Chris McGurk.
Yeah, well, Chris McGurk also goes out the next day and calls a couple of penalties. So I mean, what does he know, right? I think he called 2 penalties in that game. So just giving you crap, Chris. You're a good guy. We love you.
See, I'm trying to move on so Trasher gets in trouble so he can't come back and cover his tracks there. But.
All right.
Delmar, girls' second game. Central Wisconsin Storm against Hudson.
The Storm. What can we say about the Storm? This has got to be close to their 15th straight year there, isn't it? I mean, I'm not sure how many straight years they've been there, but it's been quite a streak, between Denny Drake, Jana Wimmer, and now Coach Susans. That's a streak for the Storm being down there. But taking on Hudson, they actually met, beat 20 days ago, 3 weeks ago, come Friday. They played on Friday, February 8th, in which the Storm won that game 4-1. This is just one of those games. I haven't seen Hudson play at all this year. I've gotten to see the Storm play one time against the Metro Lynx, and they won that game 5-0 win over the Lynx. But like I said, looking at this website called Wisconsin Prep Hockey shows that there was a final game on the 8th where the Storm won that one 4-1. Now we've got our sectional player of the week, Sydney Hendricks from Hudson, is going to be out there playing, and we know that they're able to put up points and everything, and this should be an interesting game, and I wouldn't be surprised to see this one be a 3-2 game, but I'm leaning towards the Storm taking this one home to see a potential championship game between the Storm and the Stars. But what do I know? I think I probably have the worst picks of the crew last year and stuff.
Well, Del,
down there at Madison.
If you had read my sectional final recap, you would know that the Storm have gone to the state tournament every year since 2008, making this their 12th straight appearance.
It's kind of Eau Claire Memorial-like.
Yeah.
It seems funny we're not talking about them being there this year. They'll be back.
But we all knew that you would find some way of bringing them up.
No. We were talking about the time when Memorial lost in overtime and Mason had a meltdown. Burglar, I know you remember that.
I remember that.
Yes.
Team I want to win always lose.
That I want never win.
You live in Wisconsin, buddy. Get used to it.
All right, well, that's our look at
Pastor, how do you see this game?
Yeah, we're not done yet.
Oh, okay. Well, keep going then.
Dell mentioned that the Storm beat Hudson earlier 4-1. Shots in that game were 22-19. It was fairly evenly played. Looking at the period by period summary, it looks like Hudson came out really slow and then picked it up by the third period. So, if they play a whole game instead of just the third period, they should narrow that gap. I think they've got a shot. I was at the Storm's sectional final game, and while there was a clear talent gap between the Storm and the Union, I don't think the Storm actually played all that well. They had real trouble getting the puck inside and getting good shots in on goalie Pistol-Cowden. The 2 goals they scored, one of them that was on a power play, it was from the point, it was through traffic. The other one was from the point, it hit off the pipe and got in. But I mean, they were basically, that pipe away from this game going to overtime against a team where there was a pretty big talent gap. What I saw is a team that played good defense and transitioned well out of the defensive zone, but once they got in the offensive zone, they had real problems getting the puck to the net.
And that's been a problem for them this season, that 4-1 win over, against Hudson early. 4-1, 4 goals for them is a lot. They do not score much. When you look at just looking at the playoff stats, you don't see their players, with a lot of points. This is one where the computer rankings are mixed. The My Hockey rankings has Hudson at number 4 in the state and Central Wisconsin at number 6. And U.S. High School Hockey has Central Wisconsin at number 1 and Hudson down at number 7. So Jeff and Mitch are disagreeing on this game.
Yeah, it's like early in the season, the Storm were putting in 4, 5, 6 goals a game pretty consistently, and then December 20th hit. 2-1-1-1, 2-2-1, 5 against Onalaska, 5 against Black River Falls, then back down to 1-2-2, 5 against the Metrolynx. I mean, they had just a huge stretch in the middle of the season there where they were 2 goals a game. Their season average is 3.8 goals per game. That's pretty low for them.
Well, here's what I'm seeing. The Storm, just over 3 goals a game. Hudson, just over 3 goals a game. The save percentages for the starting goalies, Hudson 914, Storm 913. The number I'm going to maybe just put out there for your conversation and maybe your thoughts on this, 658. That would be the number of wins that the Storm coach has in his high school career. Could that be the difference right there, gentlemen?
No, he doesn't get to play.
That's true, he doesn't.
He doesn't get to play, but I'll tell you what, he has a heck of an influence.
The Storm has a 7.9% power play percentage this year.
Their PK at 85%.
Their PK's at 85, which is good, but their power play's at 7.9. I mean, that's bad. I mean, Hudson's PK is at 81, so a couple points lower, but their power play's up at 25%, which is kind of where you expect a power play to be. The Storm almost would rather play at full strength, or both teams full strength, it would appear. Because, yeah, 7.9%, that's real problems on your power play. And going back to that sectional final game, the best offensive stretch I saw in that game didn't lead to a goal, but it was the Wisconsin Valley Union's power play late in the third period. They controlled the puck phenomenally. They got several good shots in on goal. They just couldn't put it in. That was the best sustained offensive performance of that whole game. So, the Storm, they've been there a lot. They're a good team. They've already beaten Hudson once, but this is not, I don't think, the invulnerable Storm team we've seen in the past.
With a 7.9 power play, yeah, I would have to agree with that, Junior. Those good teams that win state championships usually have pretty good power plays, but, they are the Storm. They find a way to get it done.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they won it all. I'm just saying that, there have been years that they've gone down there where they're the presumptive favorite, and I don't think this year is one of them. But, like we already said, they did beat Hudson 4-1 once already, and it was not that long ago.
Okay, guys, you all chimed in on the girls now? Good. All right. Next item up for discussion, the WIPH End of Season Awards. Junior, you are up to talk about that.
Yes, I just wanted to remind everybody that our awards ceremony will be Saturday, March 2nd at 9 a.m. at the Coliseum Bar and Banquet Hall across the street from the Alliant Energy Center there in Madison. It usually takes us about 45 minutes. Everybody is invited, public fans, friends, whoever. Usually we have a pretty good turnout of the nominated players. We should see that again this year. Several of the nominated players are down at the tournament. Usually even some of the other ones come down to Madison because they're going to be at the tournament anyway. But if you're in the area, come on and see us. It's always a fun time to see these kids get their awards.
I'm excited. There's some pretty good voting, and some pretty close races for these awards. So we will be giving those away Saturday morning at the Coliseum Bar, right?
Yep. And it's always exciting for me because while I did the tabulation and I know who won on the boys' side, I have no idea who won on the girls' side. I submitted my votes. Dell may have sent it to us, but if he did, I ignored it intentionally. So because I want to be surprised, I want to be in the, I don't want to ruin the surprise for myself.
Okay.
So yeah.
Dell, did you send it out?
No.
No?
I had the tabulations all sitting there.
He doesn't usually tell us.
Okay.
And the only reason I have to tell Dell is because Dell's in charge of ordering the awards, so I have to blow the surprise for him.
And if I didn't have to order them, I wouldn't know who won the boys. I'd be happy with that.
Okay.
I like surprises.
All right. Dell, girls' banquet's coming up. When do they hold the girls' banquet?
Girls' banquet is Thursday evening. Actually, and they'll do their coach of the year that night. They'll do their all-state teams, and the Miss Hockey Wisconsin will all be announced that evening. And hopefully, we get an invite to go over there for one of us get to go over there and have a good meal, listen to the coaches talk about their teams getting ready to play the next morning, and we get some good photos and be able to put up on the website showing who won these awards.
Dell, on the girls' side, when does the Jeff Sauer Award come out?
The Jeff Sauer Award, I'm not sure.
I would think that would be the
banquet. That might be a Trasher question. You might have a little more information on that than I do.
Yeah, the Jeff Sauer Award will be announced at the boys' banquet on Wednesday evening at the Alliant Exhibition Hall. I believe it's Room A, where it has been the last couple of years. And there's no difference between the boys and the girls in this award. The players are all nominated and they're kind of all grouped together. And last year, I believe there was 2 boys and 2 girls as the finalists. And Shane Ryan from Madison Edgewood, a goalie, won the Jeff Sauer Award last year. This year, Tony Granato actually is going to be announcing the award. So that'll be Wednesday night at the boys state tournament / player of the year banquet, which our own MJ Hammett will be attending and covering for us.
Well, I didn't know Tony Granato was going to be there. I'm still not going to be there.
Oh, I got some things to talk to Tony about.
Uh-oh.
He and I go back. We go back a ways. Just a little. Not too far. Okay. Awards, banquets, and all that good stuff. Wednesday night for the boys, Thursday night for the girls. Michael, our last item up on the docket for tonight. Talk.
Begging for money, I know. Wisconsin Prep Hockey basically is an organization that we make a couple of dollars every year on ad revenue. We don't get rich from this. We don't make millions. We'd like to, but we don't. My goal 18 years ago was to at some point quit my day job so I could do this full time, but that's not happening. It's probably never going to happen until I retire. Then it can be my full-time job. But if you like Wisconsin Prep Hockey, if you like the job that we do, if you like our coverage, and you want to help us out with cover some of our expenses, feel free to donate a few bucks here or there to Wisconsin Prep Hockey. I believe Burglar or Junior will pop up a donation button on the website for you to do just that, and we'd appreciate it. Wisconsin Prep Hockey forever has been a free site, and we've always been of the opinion that if If you want to donate to us, that's great. If you don't, that's fine too. We're never going to make you pay for our coverage, but if you like what we do, send a couple bucks our way so we can maybe drink a couple beers down at the state tournament and have a good time, and we'll thank you kindly for it. So that's all I got to say about that, guys.
Quick reminder that Wyndham Garden is the official state tournament headquarters of Wisconsin Prep Hockey as well. We sure appreciate their help this year. So, guys, anything else you want to talk about? Or are we just going to get ready for Wednesday?
I don't really have anything else to talk about. Looking forward to seeing some of the people down at the state tournament. And once again, we'll be in our suite there at the state tournament. And feel free to stop in and say hi to us. You know, we're always willing to talk and say hi and hear what you like about what we've done throughout the year or what you wish we did a little bit better.
I'm antisocial. Don't talk to me.
Burglar isn't that bad. He's not always a jerk.
Not always.
Not always.
Usually.
Trasher, he just is the social butterfly, and me, well, I just don't know when to shut up, I guess. But, hey, we got that state tournament coming up. It's going to be a lot of fun this year. Stop by and see us. We always look forward to saying hi and, glad hand with everybody and all that happy stuff. So feel free to stop by, and we will be talking to you again. When are we going to do this again, guys? Thursday night after everything's been said and done on Thursday?
Yes.
Yes, we will hash over Thursday's quarterfinal games for the boys. So for the Berg boys, for Trasher, for Ordell, I'm Mike Hammond. See you on Thursday. Should be a lot of fun. Quarterfinal Thursday. And you can catch all the action and stuff right here on Wisconsin Prep Hockey.